Welcome back. Now, still on political matters, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has today launched his Pesa Mfukoni economic agenda in his bid for presidency come 2022. Mudavadi insists that the national debt is a menace which ought to be dealt with by coming up with austerity measures. Further, Mudavadi says the major challenge in dealing with corruption comes with small budget allocations given to the relevant bodies tasked with fighting corruption, promising to ensure money trickles down to Mwananchi once he takes over power after the general election.
Launching his economic bid today dubbed Pesa Mfukoni, the ANC boss Musalia Mudavadi insisted that the major blow to the country's economic growth is public debt, which carries almost 70% of the economic GDP, thus leaving no room for development.
Now, public debt will then translate into excessive household debt. Because there is household debt. How does household debt grow? Household debt will grow because you are being taxed more by the government of the day to settle external debt. So ile pesa mfukoni, which you're supposed to have, is diminishing. And your household debt is growing. Your poverty levels are growing. So these are the issues that we need to arrest. And we can only arrest them from a holistic approach.
Also, Mudavadi says corruption has become a menace and stumbling block to the economic growth, wondering how the government would expect the relevant bodies to fight corruption with perennial meager budget allocations.
But if you allocate to the Auditor General 3 billion shillings, you then allocate to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption 3 billion shillings. You allocate to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution 3 billion shillings. You allocate to the Asset Recovery and Money Laundering entities 1 billion shillings. You then allocate 18 billion shillings to the judiciary. You then allocate about 6 billion to DCI. And then you allocate 47 billion to Parliament. Then you tell them, let us fight corruption. How is the Auditor General going to provide timely and accurate reports, not only of the national government, but for the 47 counties that we have?
In his economic manifesto, Mudavadi focuses on manufacturing Kenyan brands that would be consumed locally as well as build competitiveness in the foreign market, agriculture, water, health, among other key pillars. He took a swipe at his opponents, accusing them of stealing his economic slogans.
Important, if people don't give you the credit, sometimes you must blow your own trumpet, because nobody will blow it for you. Because the reality of the matter here is that we started talking about economic issues earlier than any of the political competitors today. Now, when we say uchumi bora, pesa mfukoni, now somebody comes up with a hashtag and says uchumi mashinani. When you talk of something else, you can see an element of plagiarism beginning to play into this discussion.
With clock ticking towards next year's polls, the economic politics seem to be shaping the narrative for 2022.
There is hope. Yeah, and it can be done.
Elizabeth Mutuku, TV 47 Nairobi.